Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna.
I'm Paula, and today we have Sarah Harralson with us. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
No worries. So, tell all our Crazy Women fans, who is Sarah?
So I'm coming from Nashville today, and I've been here for about 7 years now. I'm originally from Knoxville, East Tennessee, definitely not far from home, and I definitely kind of grew up in a musical background. My granddad was probably my biggest influence. He was a bluegrass musician, which there's tons of bluegrass in East Tennessee. So I grew up surrounded by all sorts of different music, learned music at a young age, like piano, guitar, and singing just came naturally, and I started songwriting at a young age too. And then when I was about to graduate high school, I knew I wanted to keep pursuing music, and I visited Belmont and Nashville and knew I just wanted to go to college there and keep pursuing music. So so I moved here 7 years ago, and I just love Nashville, and it's home to me now. And besides my own songwriting and artistry, I've been able to learn about the business side and work on the business side of the industry too.
Perfect. Sounds amazing.
So what's your,
I had to ask. Go on.
I was gonna say, what's your favorite thing about being in Nashville?
Obviously the music, since it's a music city, but I love how even since I moved here, it's not just country music, even though country music is mainly what I do. You can go in any part of town and hear maybe soul or R&B or rock. So there's just so many different types of musicians here, and pretty much everyone you meet here does music. So it feels like just a community of people that are doing the same thing.
Sounds amazing. It sounds amazing, I have to say. Perfect. So I was going to say, I had to ask Donna beforehand where Knoxville was, because your bio says Knoxville. I'm like, is that Tennessee? I can't remember.
Yes, East Tennessee. So definitely a lot of Appalachian and bluegrass music out there.
Perfect. And it seems you started writing at the age of 10. That must have been, that's quite amazing.
I did, yeah. I started writing at a young age, and I'll go back and some of the stuff I wrote from back then, and obviously some of it's not that great, and but when I look back at it too, a lot of it was just a gateway for me to get my emotions and feelings out as a child. I was a really quiet kid growing up, and my parents had separated, and I have siblings that are much older than me, so I was pretty shy growing up, and music was just kind of a source that I felt like I could get out my feelings and kind of tell the world how I felt. So songwriting came very natural to me at a young age.
Wow, that's amazing. It's a good way
I think that's how a lot of people start writing in general, whether it's poetry or songs or anything. I think that's usually the first outlet, is to get those emotions out and just to get it down on paper, because sometimes finding those words can be difficult.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. And another interesting fact here. In early 2019, you released West of Me, but you self-produced that yourself. That was a stupid thing, but you self-produced it yourself. Yeah, I know.
I did, yes. I worked on it with another producer, but yes, that was my first project where I released something that I produced or helped co-produced. And that was a collaborative album with my friend Christine Bauer, and we just basically took songs we wrote together that we wanted to put out into the world. And she is from Nebraska, so when she came into Nashville, I had her record vocals on my rig, and I just produced the tracks with another producer. And the period about 6 months, so it was a very short time to work on the album. But producing was something I started learning about at my time in Belmont, and I just fell in love with it. So it was definitely something I wanted, to try out and, have a release with my name on it as a producer.
Wow.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's
Sounds
really
amazing.
Yeah.
Being able to do everything is, a real talent. So it helps you, and it helps you produce the music you want to produce rather than what somebody else thinks. So yeah, that's quite cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it definitely was a way to help me kind of figure out my sound and figure out what I want in production and music. And definitely as an artist now, I feel like you have to wear so many hats nowadays. So it's definitely good to figure out what other areas you love about music.
Yeah, perfect.
You make a great point, especially now in this day and age, because a lot of the artists are songwriters. So I remember going back years where you had Reba and all them in the 80s and the 90s, where a lot of them were picking out songs. I mean, you always had singer-songwriters, mind you, but there were a lot of the bigger acts that were just like, okay, yeah, that's a great song, I want to do it, I mean, so.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still artists out there, country artists, where, they don't write. They just get out all of their songs as outside cuts. But for the most part, nowadays, if you're getting signed as an artist, you pretty much have to be a songwriter too, and you have your names on all the songs you're releasing.
So it makes it even harder. You definitely have, a stronger talent in everything. It's not just about the singing, it's about everything else that you can bring to the table as well. So it's going to be quite difficult. So yeah, cool. Perfect.
So are we ready for some fun questions?
Yes, I love it.
Perfect. Okay. So I thought we were going to ask for influences first. I lost the track there. Lost my gist. I lose my way every now and then. So yeah, this is our fun part. We've got quick fire questions. It's just for people to get to know you as a person. And it's all good. It's all good. So, are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm nervous but excited.
It's fun. It's easy. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
What sitcom family would you be a member of?
Oh, that's a toughie. Probably Seinfeld. I feel like, there's so many weird random occurrences in that show, and I feel like that's my life sometimes. So
That's cool. What's your favorite season?
Summer.
What's the weirdest thing a fan has ever done for you?
Oh gosh, I have to think about that one because I've had some weird occurrences before. I don't know. I had one fan make a video montage of my songs with all these random photos of me, and some of the photos I was like, where did you find that? They must have looked at my personal Facebook or something, because I'm like, where did they find pictures of me? So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, well, that's really sweet that you're appreciating my music and a fan, but almost on the creepy side.
You're bored one stalkerish, eh?
Yeah.
Where was your IP address again? Let's make sure we know where you are now.
Let's keep working now. Boots or heels?
Boots.
Favorite drink?
Whiskey ginger.
Perfect. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
What's your favorite animal?
Definitely a dog.
You're If you could add someone to Mount Rushmore, who would it be and why?
I'd probably add Johnny Cash. One, because I wouldn't add another president probably, and I feel like everyone loves Johnny Cash, and how authentic he is. And so, yeah, I definitely pick him.
That would be cool, yes. And what was the first concert you went to?
It's actually really strange. The first concert I went to was Neil Sedaka, and I was literally the youngest person in that concert because my mom took me to it, and I was really young, and I was like, I don't even know who this guy is, and I was really little, but I still remember that concert and being mesmerized because it was like one of those artists where, he's like an oldies artist, and I'm too young to know his music, but wow, I like these songs. So it's definitely a weird first concert.
That's cool. I love that. Yeah. The weird ones are always the best.
Yeah, that's something I can relate to. The first concert without my parents was actually Leslie Gore and a couple other oldies, like Gary Young and Union
Nice.
Gap. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like so funny because I most people don't even think of when you say oldies. Someone goes, what is that, the 80s? I'm like,
I know. I feel like people my age always say pop concerts like NSYNC, Britney Spears. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't me.
That's so cool.
so tell us, who are some of your sheroes?
Definitely, I look up to Natalie Maines from the Dixie Chicks. Have always loved like her voice, her sound, and just the melodies she has in her music. So that's something I always kind of take as an influence. I also love Jewel. She kind of adds, a little bit of folk to her country, which I kind of like to do too in my music. And I also love Alanis Morissette, and she always, those strange songs like, how did she even write this? But that's something I definitely look up as an influence because, I kind of want to aim to do the same thing in my music. And then, of course, Johnny Cash, like I mentioned him earlier, because he was so authentic with his lyrics and his music and telling it like it is. And that's definitely something I aim to do in my own music.
Wonderful. What was the best thing before sliced bread?
Before sliced bread. I have to think. I guess was just ice cream. Is that like before sliced bread?
That's why I like his question. You never know what answer. People just like.
Or coffee. I'm always drinking coffee.
There you go.
I'll do the coffee. If you could talk to anyone, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you want to talk about?
I feel like I keep throwing Johnny Cash in there, but he is always my answer for that question. And I just would want to talk to him about, his authenticity with his music, because a lot of people weren't doing that or were too scared to do that at the time that he was doing it. So I would just kind of like to, ask him about that and see like if he was ever afraid to tell it like that is, because sometimes he would sing songs at the White House or other events that was kind of too risque at the time, but he did it anyway. So I would like to know more about that.
It's an awesome choice. He is definitely an awesome choice. If you weren't doing music, what would you be doing?
So that's kind of an easy question for me because I have worked on the business side of the industry. I've worked in music licensing and royalties. And those are, the royalties definitely more on the math side of it. So not what I thought I would have done on the business side. I thought I would have done like marketing or, something cool like A&R, but of course those jobs are harder to get. But what I loved about my experience working with royalties is I learned more about, okay, so this is what an artist should get paid, and or this is what an artist is not getting paid, and just also looking at artist label contracts and figuring out, is this a good deal I'm signing? And I think that information has helped me so much with my own artistry.
I think in general that you make a great point on that. Because I mean, there are a lot of people that don't understand most of the how the industry works and a lot of the facets there. So,
Right. I think there's definitely a lot more resources for independent artists now than before, but it's so easy to, just kind of sign something that you don't really know what you're signing.
absolutely. So, if you were a Disney character, what character would you be?
I would definitely be Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She has always been my favorite.
I love Belle. I love that film. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, best soundtrack.
Oh yes,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, I think we could all agree on that. What's your
Well,
favorite ice cream flavor?
Strawberry cheesecake.
What's your favorite snack?
Probably popcorn.
sweet or salty? You have to ask.
Oh, that really depends on my mood, but probably salty more often than not.
So,
There's no debate here.
so hypothetically, if I need to hide a body or a friend needed to hide a body, do you know a good place?
I feel like I don't anymore because you watch all these shows and everything's on camera now. So maybe back in the day, but I feel like everything's being recorded.
Oh, what would be a good theme? Yeah, Tigger came back. Tigger's like, "Hey, I'm here to help." Okay, thanks, Tigger. What would be a good theme song for your life, or in this current moment of your life?
I feel like I'm in a happy, good spirit place in my life, so probably like a Bon Jovi song, like "Living on a Prayer" or something.
Yes, perfect. That's a great song.
It is. All Bon Jovi songs are great. So tell me, what song should I listen to before I die?
Well, if you haven't checked out my music, you can check that out first. But
Make sure you listen to it first.
I guess I'm trying to think of anything like recent, but I don't know what you've heard of or haven't heard. But definitely just listen to a whole Journey album before you die. Just re-listen.
Oh yeah, I love Jane. I must admit. But yeah, okay. So the most important question ever: who is your favourite CWC host?
Oh gosh, I don't like that question. I think the connection's getting weak here. I might have to hop off. Just gonna dodge it.
It's a great answer. I love that.
See, Tigger even came full screen to see if you were going to say her.
Yes, of course, it's Tinker. That's my final answer.
Damn it. You sure you don't want to phone a friend or something, Who do I pick? That's so cool. So tell us, what does 2021 hold for you? What have you got planned?
So this year I've just been writing a ton more. I feel like I've had so much more time to do that. I've been recording new music so people can look forward to hearing even new music from me this year. I played a few shows recently. Luckily, some things are opening back up, so hopefully more gigs in the future. But even since last year when things shut down, I kind of started producing more again and been doing vocal gigs and been hired to write songs for people. And that was just something new that I found, like, the times work for this right now. Like, people are wanting musicians to track music for them remotely. And so that's something I've been doing a ton more of lately too. And I think I'll continue doing that in the future.
Perfect.
So do you think you'll be doing production work for others or just for yourself?
I'd like to do both. Usually with my own music, I put out that album that I co-produce, but for the most part with my own music, I usually like to have a separate producer, a separate pair of ears on my own music because they can kind of hear something, I haven't thought of, and usually that works for my own music and myself, but I definitely want to keep, producing music for other people while doing my own music.
Be cool. That'd be amazing. Perfect. You'll be wearing many hats.
Yes.
I think she's doing that now.
All the hats.
Yes. As I said, you mentioned about writing songs for other people. So do you just do that for other artists, or is it just for members of the public, or is it just
I do both. So usually, going into a write, sometimes I kind of know like, well, I usually work the best with this person if I write something for them or if we write something for me. But other times it's just a free for all, whatever we come up with, we'll see, what feels right. So some music I have, it feels right to pitch to another artist. Some music feels right for me, and then some feels right for the artist I'm writing with. So I definitely enjoy, besides writing for myself, writing for other people too, and hearing a different voice sing a song I wrote.
Perfect. Sounds amazing. Wow. She's a force to contend with. You can do everything.
I try to.
A one-woman band. It's amazing. It's so good to hear, someone who's really exploring the whole music industry and being able to, do everything. So it's quite cool. Perfect. I love that.
Thank you.
So thank you.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you on. And definitely for those who aren't so familiar with the industry, learning more about how it works. And, because like I said before, like a lot of people don't understand all the logistics that go into the industry, different than most normal business industries. Each I think has their own areas of differences, but yeah.
Right. And as technology keeps on growing, I feel like there's always so much more to learn. So it's always good for artists to, branch out and learn different areas of the industry and just grow.
Perfect. So make sure you check out all of Sarah's socials and her music. Obviously, it's everywhere. And she's amazing.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been fun.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been so much fun, and especially the appearance from Tinker.
Our special guest host.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
She's decided to go back to sleep now. Say goodnight. Thank you.
Bye, dear.
Bye.
See ya.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.